Hey, I'm Bob Buys. Work with Howard, several of the guys here, George there. It's good to be here.
Okay, Paris.
Hey, I'm Paris McCurdy, and former professional athlete, currently working out at Ball State University as a director for community diversity initiatives. I'm from Detroit, and glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, Justin.
Oh, it's on me. You said a little bit about us. So my name is Justin. I'm that's my dad, the host. I live in St. Louis right now. I work in the English department at Washington University in St. Louis. I teach creative writing classes.
Okay. Mark.
Okay, my name is Mark. By trade, I'm an electrician, and I have coached kids as far as little league, high school, and track, football, basketball, et cetera. And I look forward to having a discussion today.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. My name's Brandon, 8-year veteran of the United States Air Force. Additionally, like Justin said, Bob Howard is my father. This is a huge moment, getting this podcast off the ground. I'm currently working in the mortgage industry as a team leader at Quicken Loans. Born and raised here in beautiful Southfield, Michigan, man, ready to get this discussion going.
All right, George.
Name's George, steel worker by trade. Excited to get this going.
All right, Rob.
What's happening? Name's Rob Lucci. I'm a musician and multimedia content creator from Detroit, Michigan, raised in Atlanta. Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Okay, so the way we start, we're going to start with what we call a quick answer. Quick answer is, first of all, let's talk about the question. The question is, do pro athletes make too much money? So that's the question. And we would like to ask you guys a quick answer. We're going to start with Paris. Paris, what is a quick answer? Do pro athletes make too much money?
No.
No. George.
Can't get any quicker than that.
Do pro athletes make too much money?
So far, we agree. I say no.
Mark?
I believe no. I'm sorry. I believe they do not make too much money.
Brandon?
No, I don't think they make too much money, but I think my reasoning would be a little bit different than what most folks think, but we'll get into that later. I say no.
Bob?
I believe no. I think that's. I almost feel like I should say yes, just give these guys a hard time, but but I don't believe they get paid too much for several reasons.
All right, Rob?
Looks like it's going unanimous. I don't think they make too much money.
Wow. Okay, Justin?
Oh, dang, this ain't a very difficult question right here, because I'm gonna keep the unanimous going, and I'm gonna say no. I don't know, like Brandon said, I don't know if my reason is the same as everybody else, but I think the answer is no.
So I would ask all of you guys. I mean, I would look at our value system, right? Our value system. So, do you guys value an athlete, an entertainer, over a fireman, a doctor, a teacher? A teacher on average, a teacher makes what, 50 grand a year on average?
If I could get in there, I'll say I personally don't, but your nation does. The public puts more emphasis and value into entertainment than it does your firefighter, your teacher. So for that reason, those
you just told me that athletes athletes don't make too much money. Average pro basketball player makes $7.7 million a year. Average teacher makes about $50,000 to $60,000. And so
that's false. That's false reasoning, right there.
Yeah,
I push back against that logic right there. It's not comparable. Do people get paid based off of how much we, as a society, how important they are? Do they get paid based off what the market says they worth? You know what I'm saying?
And I believe that too, Jess. I go with that because the simple fact is, society has said that the value of those athletes is what they're worth. You know, if you look at the dedication of an athlete,
A
and
pair,
the time they spend in order to perfect their craft and get to that level, it takes a lot.
a paramedic makes less than $40,000 a year on average. A paramedic saves people's lives daily. So are you saying that a paramedic who saves lives daily is worth less than an athlete?
I'm not saying I'm not saying that. But you know, if you look at what a paramedic does, a paramedic takes care of the individual athletes. Takes care of it's millions of people that watch athletes. And then the money that's made there, if the athlete doesn't get the money, the owner gets the money. So where do you want the money to go? It's going to go somewhere, either to the athletes that perform the act, or it's going to go to the owners. The money is going somewhere.
So again, how can you not say a paramedic should make more than $30,000 a year?
They should, but why is that the same
They
question?
should.
Not even related.
Yeah, they
One
should.
of them,
I
what
agree
a
with
paramedic makes has absolutely nothing to do with what an athlete makes.
Of course,
It's not like your ticket sales money. They're going to be like, oh, only part of this can go to the athlete because we got to pay a paramedic too. It's not the same question.
it shows what we've had.
Question. How about this? This is my statement right here. I don't think a pipe fitter should make as much as you make. I think you should only make $30,000 a year. What if we said that pipe fitter ain't worth as much as a paramedic? Paramedic make $30,000.
Yeah,
you only should make 25. What about that?
Yeah, you make more. I agree with that. Yeah. What about that assessment?
So maybe we should look at it wholesale, right? Maybe we have to look at what we value. What do we value? Do we value our teachers? Our teachers spend a lot of time raising our children when parents don't even do it. Sometimes kids lean on teachers. And the teacher.
So then the question would be like, where's the income coming from that they should be getting paid as much as an athlete?
The income is there. They should get paid.
So again, a paramedic. Has anybody ever had a paramedic save anyone's life?
Yeah, they charge a lot of money.
You keep going to like teachers and stuff like that, and I feel like that's a way more complicated. Why is the issue? Why do teachers only get paid $50,000? You got to break down how the school system works, how the government is involved, how money gets allocated, who it goes down to, and all of that. How much money is in their industry, and how much teachers get paid? Sure, they're not getting paid maybe as much as they should, but given that you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry when you're talking about athletes and stuff like that, and they collectively bargain it.
Then I would ask, how come police officers isn't a multi-billion-dollar industry?
Because no one's paying for a police officer to come rescue them. They're paying to go see an athlete, so that's where that money comes from.
Yeah,
you do.
Bob, I got my hand up, Bob. I've had my hand up for a minute. You know.
Okay.
Let me chime in for a second here. I got a couple of opinions on that, and you know they say an opinion is only as good as the information that you gathered it from, right? Where it comes from. But I want to start off with this quote. Often people who criticize your life are usually the same people that don't know the price you paid to get where you are today.
It's a hell of a price being paid to get there.
So when you talk about the value of education, you talk about the value of a police officer, you talk about the value of a pro athlete. You know, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. So
that is.
So you want to pay teachers more? Let's raise the teacher salaries come from our taxes, from our property taxes. Let's raise
my taxes up. Don't raise my taxes.
Yeah. But the professional athletes are self-generating these dollars because they go out there, they play, they draw a crowd. At any given moment, they're in a stadium, in an arena with 100,000 people.
So,
you know, they're self-sufficient.
If we took away all of the athletes, and all of them, right? And we took away all of the teachers, which would have the greatest impact? Which,
Probably the teachers, more than likely the teachers.
Sure.
But you know what? Like Paris said, that one, when you're dealing with a paramedic or a teacher, you know, they didn't negotiate their contract as good as the athletes did. But then, like I said, there's millions and billions of dollars generated from the athlete. So where do you want the money to go? There's not that type of money generated from being a teacher. There's not that type of money. And one is disposable income. People are actually willing to dispose their income to go see an athlete.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they're willing to pay, then, you know, athletes should have the money.
I'm not understanding. I just explained to you that if we take away teachers, imagine if you took away all the police officers, what would happen to America? If you took away all the police officers, what would happen?
That's a completely different question, though, isn't it?
Yes.
If you took away all of the paramedics, if you took away some of these, key people in our society, in some cases, our society will crumble.
And
Yeah,
most cases,
Society, we don't value that though. We value the athletes. We value the kids. They don't want to be officers. They don't want to be no more. They want to be influencers. My daughter, she wants to be a YouTube star. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We put an emphasis on those areas. So, excuse me. So teachers and police officers, paramedics, things of that nature, they're not prized. That's just a fact. That's what we set up.
Wow.
I agree that
I don't think that has anything to do with the money, though.
I believe.
So, Brandon, what you're saying is
It's not whether we value one thing over another.
yes, it is.
Number one, the length of the careers are drastically different as well, and what professional athletes give up in the amount of their wear and tear on their bodies and that kind of thing. You know, these professional careers are very short. Take an incredibly driven individual to get to a particular spot, and very few of those get to the big get to the giant payday. I know a ton of minor league ball players that have spent their whole career there just waiting, and maybe they're a great center fielder, but they're behind a center fielder that has his whole career or whatnot. He's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? These guys are feeding their families on less than $100,000 a year salaries as well. So if you're taking the amount of these guys that are the elite $8 million a year guys or more.
Teacher, we don't have doctors. Without a teacher, we don't have lawyers. We don't have paramedics. Without teachers, we miss out on a lot. Without a teacher, without paramedics, guess what happens? So many people die that wouldn't otherwise die. Without police officers, there would be anarchy, and people would be just looting, stealing, killing, all of that stuff.
Question. Why then? Why? Because like athletes, like sure, they don't keep us from getting killed, but entertainment, like enjoying life, that's an important part of being human. So why something and all that, and also why target athletes? Like we need teachers, we need paramedics, so therefore we should pay them more and take money away from athletes. There's a lot of other less essential professions that we could take money from. We could take Mitch McConnell's salary and give it to the teachers. We could take Nancy Pelosi's salary and give it to the teachers for all I care. There's a lot of different industries and stuff, people that don't offer stuff. So why target athletes? When I think they do, entertainment is important,
It's not to target athletes. I watch sports too. I enjoy sports. But the thing is I'm trying to look at our value system.
All right.
Do we value athletes, actors, entertainers more than we value teachers, lawyers? I mean, not lawyers, but doctors,
Insurance salesman.
And
I think
Yeah.
you're asking the wrong question here, because if we canceled all pro sports tomorrow, they're all done. Do teachers and paramedics get a raise right off the bat? No. That money doesn't
no,
go-
because none of
So
that
how
money
it
is
goes
going.
away.
You
The
think?
money goes away. The money goes away that they're
Right.
saving.
Because
money
that
goes
money
away.
selling tickets and jerseys and all that. So by canceling all that, teachers and all that don't get a raise. I'm married to a teacher. I'd love teachers to get a raise. I definitely feel they're undervalued in the society. But how does this even? The question you should be asking is our athletes valued more, which is kind of what we're going into. It's not, do they make too much money?
Value is in dollars and cents. Average basketball player, because I just looked up basketball player. Average basketball player makes $7.7 million a year on average.
How many basketball players? How many professional basketball players are there in that? What you're reading from your stat?
I didn't see it. I didn't. It just,
Okay, you take that number and compare it to all the dollars that are being paid to all the teachers.
Oh, absolutely.
How much money you got
There-
on the whole?
Hundreds of thousands of teachers or whatnot, all the way, throughout the country or whatnot.
and
And then, like you're saying, the
hundred-
road to get to being an athlete. I mean, if you want to be a teacher tomorrow and you worked hard, you can be a teacher. But if you want to be a professional athlete, the road to get there is much harder. I mean, it's hard being a coach, coaching little kids, and even in high school, it's hard to be a great high school player. Now you're talking about a great college player is even harder, and to be a professional athlete is like hitting the lottery. So pretty much what they are lottery winners. You can't compare them to teachers.
Of course you can. To be a good teacher, how many bad teachers you had?
No, I'm saying
Quite a few.
There's a
What I'm
bunch of
saying is, you
people.
can't
Look where I'm
compare
at right now.
How many bad? How many have?
you cannot compare them, because if you want to be a teacher, even if you're a bad teacher, if you want to be a teacher, you can be a teacher. If you want to be a doctor, you can dedicate your life to be a doctor. If you want to be a professional athlete, there's 9 times out of 10 you will not get there, because it takes dedication, hard work, luck, and it takes God-given athletic ability, and it's only so many of them.
It's at the end of the day, it's a kid's game. At the end of the day, it's a kid's game.
No, that's not true at all. That's not
And
true at
so,
all.
Taking that,
game, then my grandson to be out there
they're
playing,
huge
getting
industries.
paid for it.
At the
These
end,
are sports that were
There
played
are-
by
there are
gladiators and
thousands of
warriors.
jobs. I'm sorry.
I love to play basketball. Love to watch basketball. Love to watch football. We played coming up. We played football every day. I enjoy it.
Okay, now take that into consideration. If you want to add value to it, take how many hours it took you to get that good working. I mean, how many times you had to dribble a ball? How many hours you spent in order to be good to get there? And now, if you add that, that's value, because that's your training. Now, if you add that up, then the value might not be different. Instead of 7.7 million, it might be, hey, I spent so many thousand hours dribbling the ball, so many thousand hours working out, so many thousand hours. You have to take that in consideration if you want to put a value on it.
Who's your favorite teacher?
Miss Perry.
Miss Perryman.
Miss
So-
Rap.
Is Miss Perryman less valuable than Denzel Washington?
No.
that's-
Is Miss Perryman bringing in the same revenue that Denzel Washington is bringing in, though?
That to be coming out of the same
Well,
revenue
not only
streams.
the job Denzel
Yes, not just-
Washington, but
Miss
what
Perryman.
he brings to the industry, the film industry, has a lot of people working in it to get a Denzel Washington movie. There are a lot of people tied up in not only concessions, but grounds crews, and so that what the
It costs
professional athlete contributes to the rest of society, I think is probably on a whole more than the education.
More
is.
valuable.
Can I say?
anybody has anyone ever called the police before?
You can't hate on Denzel Washington, man. It's Black History Month. Come on now. We
We
gotta
gonna
get rid
call
of
him
this.
In all them movies.
Come on now.
I'm not hating on
What
it.
about
I'm all you guys are agreeing with each other, so I'm just flipping the coin. You know, everybody feel like
devil's advocate.
yes, sir.
Well,
Trying to say that athletes are worth this much. And just by the way, if you guys would have said the teachers were more valuable, I would have been on the other side of that too. It's just
Hey, Bob, can you consider this, Bob?
But you're changing the question though.
Yeah, the question had to be framed a little differently. But Bob, can you say this, that you take a neurosurgeon, he gets paid a special price because he does something very special. Any doctor can't go in and do what he does. You take an athlete, that's a special assignment on your job at the plant. You guys have special assignment guys that come out.
Okay, Paris.
So you talk about the dollars, you talk about where the money is coming from, where the money's going.
What value do you get out of a basketball player? Now that neurosurgeon, guess what happens? You get a lot of value from him because a neurosurgeon can save your life, right? So
one person at a time.
Right. What value do you get out of a neurosurgeon? I mean, I'm sorry.
One person at a time. I mean, you know, it's a special craft. Being an athlete is a special craft. There's only so many athletes. How many?
Any doctor will say that entertainment is just as important to your health as knowledge, because you need entertainment to keep your stress levels down, which can be fatal if they're too high. So athletes do serve a purpose in stress relief that can keep you from hypertension and heart disease and all that, things like that.
So somewhere in Nepal, hold on, Mark. Hold on. Somewhere in Nepal, somewhere in some countries, or I shouldn't say Nepal, but somewhere there's tribes that are untouched by human hands. They don't have athletes like that.
Yes, they do.
Bob, can we hear from Eric? Eric just came on the scene.
Are you
from Eric? We haven't had a chance to hear from Eric.
Yeah, let's hear from Eric.
Oh, we will. But are you saying that the indigenous tribes that are untouched by outside world, they have professional athletes?
They have athletes. They might not be professional athletes the way we conceive of it, but yes, they have athletes.
They have those that are the elite in athleticism among their tribe, and they are who people look for when they do these gladiator battles, and they have their own sports that their tribes and their cultures come up with.
Battles. How do you know they're untouched by human?
Because historical archaeology has proven that.
Come on, you know.
Hey, what do you think about, and Bob, if you want to go to value,
let's talk.
If you want to go to value, if you take a 900 square foot house, you put it in the city of Detroit, it's worth so much. But you take that 900 square foot house and you put it in like West Bloomfield, California, Beverly Hills, value is what people are willing to pay. People are willing to pay for it, so their value, that's what their value is. People have put a value on them, and they're willing to pay.
All based on perceptions.
That's my question. Do we value the wrong things? That's my question. Because we are paying more for entertainment than we are for our infrastructure. If we take away teachers, would you agree? If we take away teachers, it would impact our society immensely.
Yeah.
If you take one teacher over the lifetime, the people that she touched, you take one athlete, he'd be in an arena with 100,000 people. That 100,000 people, he impact just that one night.
How does he
got next night? So there's a value in that.
Impact him because he dunked, because he ran a touchdown. How does he?
Because he made him feel good. Now I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing better than feeling good, being happy with yourself. You know that. I mean, like you said, it makes you feel good.
Wait.
But we're missing a spot here as well. We need heroes, and those are role models and heroes when we're young. Those are,
So Eric, we do want to hear from Eric. Paris, thank you, sir. We do want to hear from Eric. Eric, what do you think about this? Do pro athletes make too much money?
You already know I think they do, but
Oh,
that's a different thing. I mean, we arguing teachers and athletes. Yeah, entertainment is good, but I feel like you do, Bob, about the teachers, Yeah, athletes make a lot. But let's take away the $30 million that some make. And actually the average paycheck for NBA player league minimum is just under $1 million. All right, I think it's 900 and something thousand dollars a year league minimum. You know, at that you have some. I'm gonna put it this way: you have some that make an extraordinary amount of money, as we know. You know, then you have a few that makes the league minimum. They might be in the league 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. Now I know they generate a lot of money because we're talking about value. We're talking about how much money they can make, they generate. I also believe they do impact people's lives. You have athletes like Shaquille O'Neal and Magic Johnson. They give a lot back after the fact, you know, which is great. You know, you have other athletes that, you know, make a lot of money and don't give nothing back. I believe teachers and the common people, you know, that work every day. It's like when, I don't want to get off base with this. You remember when the athletes went on strike during the NBA playoffs? Y'all remember that earlier?
Yeah.
And they just said, we don't want to play. I mean, I understood they were upset because we know what's going on in the world today, all right? All of us do, especially in the inner cities. All right, they just didn't want to play, you know. But if that garbage man tomorrow decided, you know what, I don't want to go to work no more, you know, so now for the next 2 months, your garbage is piling up all over the place. There's value in that garbage man that nobody's talking about. You know, yeah, we could value the entertainers. I understand that. And the athletes, I think some make too much money, but as you also said, it's driven by what people are willing to pay for.
Yes.
And, that's the biggest thing is it's like, you know, you're never gonna change it because if you're willing to pay $1,000, well, I ain't gonna say 1,000, you're willing to pay $200, $300 to go see Beyonce, or even 1,000, what is the value in her, you know?
No, it's not just, no, go ahead, Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll say I can replace, like you say, if the garbage man goes away for two months, 2 weeks, whatever, the garbage piles up. But you can more easily replace that skill set, right? You can't let. I'm not gonna say like a big time player. Let's take like a role player, like a Lou Williams, a Jamal Crawford. You know what I'm saying? A middle of the road type of guy. Even that, you can't just simply replace that. So I think that's where the value comes from.
I'll say
piggyback off that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, real quick, just even it's a small point, Eric, man. You talk about like the people who make the most, they get paid too much. Even that I push back against because the NBA is a salary capped league, right? Meaning it's not a true free market. If Steph Curry gets paid $40 million, if it was a true free market, that was his real value, he would probably get paid double that a season. He wouldn't get paid $40 million. That's just one small point about value and what the market says and all that too. Yeah, but
again,
I agree with what Brandon said though about the more easily replaceable skill sets. Go ahead, right?
But again,
so I wanted to piggyback is that like in the example of the trash man, almost everybody pays for trash removal, no matter where you live. Like you have to pay that, right? So then it wouldn't be it would be like, why isn't the trash industry not paying the trash men more? It's not do we value athletes more than trash men? That's how that industry chooses to funnel that money, right? So if say the NBA was government regulated, do we really think athletes will be making $40 million? No.
Probably not, yeah.
So again, we teachers fight. Every once in a while you see teachers go on strike. Teachers have to fight to get supplies, especially in the inner city. They have to fight to get supplies. They have to fight to get prep time. They have to fight for all of these things. Police officers so many police departments are understaffed, right? And they have to deal with. Can you imagine in some of the most crime-ridden neighborhoods in this country, being a police officer in those cities? That's tough. That's a tough job. It's much tougher than going out playing a basketball game.
Don't teachers.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Are you serious right now? Are you saying it's easier to go out and?
No, it's not. You know what? It's easier to become a police officer than it is to become an athlete. It's easier to become, because, like I say, if I wanted to be a police officer right now, you can become a police officer. If I wanted to go to the NBA, it's no way. So therefore, the value is in the small amount of people that's there. There's more police officers than there are athletes. So you're trying to take away their value because you feel like they make too much money. I understand police should make more.
Tell that to a soldier's mom. Tell that to somebody who went up into the Twin Towers on 9/11. Tell somebody when one of the towers had already fallen, and those people still went up into the other tower to save people's lives. Tell that.
That's an emotional argument. That's not a logical argument right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you take $1 billion and you distribute that between 5 million teachers, and then you take $1 billion and you distribute that between 24 players.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that. That's a good one right there.
It's not that we value one over the other. It's just more of one that you have to distribute.
Yes.
Money throughout.
So I mean, there's a million ways to look at it. The thing I'm trying to, I guess, look at is teachers impact society, and innumerably they impact society. Teachers impact society a child at a time. Every doctor, every neurosurgeon, Pear said neurosurgeon, every neurosurgeon was built by a teacher. Every single one was built by a teacher. And at the end of the day, they're not as respected as a rapper. They're not as respected as somebody who, just they entertain us. That's what they do. That's all. And when people get grown, you know what they'll do? They'll listen to LeBron James before they'll listen to a Harvard professor. They'll listen to LeBron James before they will a Harvard professor. But LeBron James plays basketball.
I guarantee you that Harvard professor goes home and he watches LeBron James to make his day easier from what he just dealt with.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Hold on 1 second, Brad. You tried to say something I couldn't hear.
Well, I said LeBron James has something that those teachers don't have, and that's financial freedom. LeBron James is doing something that he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? We all are for the most part, average people. We work regular jobs. That's our day-to-day. If we had all the money in the world, we would do something different. You know what I'm saying? So those athletes, those rappers, those entertainers, they provide an escape for people from their regular life. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me none of y'all will work a 9 to 5 if y'all ain't have to. You know what I'm saying?
And to Brandon's point, how many of you would give the money back if it was offered to you what an athlete gets?
Right.
Who would give it back?
Of course, we wouldn't give it back, but
I would distribute it among my community.
I'm just trying to figure out how do we place more value on essential workers versus entertainment?
Well, it's just like buying a watch. You know, all these watches that are $25,000 or $10,000, $15,000 watches don't do the job any better than the Timex site for $4. There's a perceived value in a perceived. One of the things that professional athletes do is participate in a much broader spectrum. The market, like you said, you know, the stadiums need to be built. There's a huge infrastructure about that. Not only in the restaurant and bar business, when you have games on there, there are countless thousands of lives that are impacted by every game that goes on. Not, and it is a bit of a just for the entertainment aspect of it, but I think that we're leaving out a whole bunch of other aspects of this that are important.
Arena employees,
I think that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I was just saying, like, all like the jobs that those athletes also like provide for, with like arena employees,
they
security,
provide a lot. They provide a lot.
Management, like that's a lot of families that they feed too.
Yes, they do.
Of course, teachers and stuff.
So we kind of like
Bob, can I chime in? I want to, Rob and Bob. One thing you got to remember: you're talking on a global scale. Okay, these dollars that the athletes are getting over on the other side of the world, when these programs are broadcast over there, they have to pay these owners money to be able to broadcast those games. So that's another generating factor. Then you come all the way back with everything they got, licensing, coming all the way back here, you got commercials. People are able to advertise on here. Now products are
Merchandising.
put into our home. We get to go out and pick out things that we want to buy. Those people that we're buying from, supplying jobs for other people who are working. I mean, it goes all the way down the line. You know, the value, without question, is there for what an athlete's worth is, what his value is.
I'm thinking the teacher needs some merch too.
Some what?
Well, then the teacher need to think of some merch.
Merch too. The paramedics need some merch. So anyway, we kind of we kind of saying the same things. I do want to just a final thought from everyone, really quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I do thank you guys for joining the difficult question. I think this is something that I enjoy doing. I think you guys brought a lot of good points. I didn't expect everybody to agree, except for and so that was a little bit different. But just a final thought, if you could sum it up in a sentence or two. Do athletes make too much money, George?
I still say they don't. I mean, I don't think it's relative to the fact that other professions need to make more money, but it's the market that's dictated that they play in. I really don't think they do.
Okay. Hey, Paris?
If you take away the money that athletes are being paid with the understanding of what their value, each athlete understands their value, you're going to take away the quality of sports, which will in turn take away our lifestyles, our entertainment, us not wanting to sit down on Sundays and eat pizza and drink beer.
Saturday too.
All right, Mark.
I agree with the fact that athletes employ a lot of people. That arena, that's a lot of value. If you have the arena employing a lot of people, that's their value. So I do not think they make too much money. Sorry.
Okay, Justin.
I still say no, they don't make too much money. I do think you did bring up a lot of good points about other industries and stuff that are considered, that are more essential to the functioning of society and stuff, but I also noticed that a lot of those things we're talking about, police, talking about teachers, like these are all kind of government run industries. And the questions then I think we should be looking towards the government who are putting in office and all that about why those people aren't getting paid as much. And yeah, so I'm still saying no, but you brought up a lot of good points.
All right, thank you. Bob.
I think the infrastructure that the whole infrastructure of the all of the I'm searching for a word here, but what they contribute to. There's several different industries that cross back and forth. The amount of jobs, not only in construction, but just people, it contributes in so many different ways to and these are the other vessels that are the huge draw for this giant machine that we've kind of, become not really dependent on, but I mean, I think they're super important to a lot of people in making their money, making their living.
Okay. All right, Rob.
My answer remains the same. I don't think they get paid too much money.
Okay. Eric.
On an overall scale, no. I'm talking about the top half of the athletes when I say they make too much money. Mm-hmm. But also, I understand all the arguments, which I never even considered the other things they bring to the table when we're talking about, the other industries they help feed. We're talking about the restaurant, builders, people taking care of the stadiums and everybody else. You know, I never considered that fact, you know. But yeah, it's about what the value is. And of course, we value them like that. It's entertainment. We value entertainers, you know, so yeah, the top half does. But no, another question was, but we ain't gonna get into it, is would they still play the game if they weren't getting paid?
Right. That's a good question. That's a good. Hey, so what you just brought up, Eric, is a question. Maybe we'll do that one on the difficult question at a later date. So again, like I said, I want to thank you guys. And I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion. What my job is just to challenge all opinions. I think all opinions are important, and all opinions drive the world. Just happened to be a day when everybody pretty much agreed. So I had to, you know, be on the other side. So if like I said, if you guys had agreed that they did make too much money, I would have been on the other side of that, just to have a healthy conversation. I do thank you guys. I greatly appreciate you guys coming. And at a later date, maybe we get together and do it again, get on here and talk about something else, maybe that question that Eric has. So I thank you guys, and thank you for joining us, and I'll see you again.
Hey, Bob, hey, Bob, because we all agreed, you must concede.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give it up.